Hello indie game fans, free games always have an advantage over paid titles since there is no barrier to entry, so here are my picks for the best free titles of 2021. I've tried to pick games which are completely free, but of course there are some free to play ones with microtransactions, so do watch out for those as well. Let's begin with Idle Monster TD, a tower defense game which incorporates Pokemon-style monster collection and evolution into the design, so as a fan of monster taming games and pixel art, this gets a spot. Multiplayer-focused indie games generally have a tough go at it since they're competing with massive free-to-play titles like Genshin Impact or Halo Infinite, but somehow, one that managed to sustain itself for a little bit is PIGGY Hunt. This is an asymmetric multiplayer survival horror title that is of course like Among Us in some ways, but has a little bit more of a creepy theme as the infected stalk the halls and try to hunt down the human survivors. Again, not exactly the freshest of ideas, given that games like Dead by Daylight exist, but it has a top-down perspective with fog of war and sidelines, adding to the tension, and for free, why not give it a go? An interesting title that I believe switched from a paid game to a free one is Infinitode 2 Infinite Tower Defense, one whose value proposition is in the title, where you are using a variety of towers to destroy incoming enemies before they reach the goal. While the graphics are not exactly the most gorgeous, the sheer variety and amount of content is impressive, with a research and upgrade tree that may come close to that of Path of Exile, and since I have a soft spot for games in this genre, it gets a spot. As compared to the previous title, I'm absolutely sure that Rogue Glitch went from a paid game to a free one when it released out of early access, since I was keeping an eye on this roguelite platformer. At this point in time, people may say that this game is sus, but the simple design of the basic character does work really well, with it having an interesting, colourful look. The story setup is that you were a regular video game character whose world is turned upside down when things started glitching out, so explore the glitch world solo or with some friends to get to the bottom of this mystery. It was a pretty decent entry in early access and probably did not have enough traction, so the developers decided to release it for free and just charge for the online co-op portion, which is a nice gesture for sure. A surreal and very weird title is Mitoza, one where you interact and play with a number of real-life objects that are rendered on very strange scales, with tiny elephants and giant carrots, for example, where it is simply fun to poke and prod at this game. There's a common sticking point for some people with regards to city building or RTS titles, since some people are not sure if they would like them, so if you are one of those, do check out Black Forest since it is free. This is a survival city builder set in the Black Forest in medieval Germany, where you are making decisions to help your colony survive. Peasants or villagers will go about their daily routine, where you can gently guide them around to do various tasks, from tending to the fields, constructing new buildings, gathering resources, and so on, all in an attempt to ensure that you have enough food and defenses to survive against the monsters. Yes, indeed, there are a variety of enemies and monsters that will come and attack, ranging from wolves and bears to more fantastical creatures, so keep your guard up if you want to survive. For a free game, it does look pretty decent, with the developer pledging to continue to work on this through early access, with a cosmetic DLC supporter pack looking like it's for fans of the genre. A very cute looking, if a little macabre entry is Boodunnit, where you play as a ghost who has to solve your own murder. You can fly about the city to gather clues, possess humans to talk to people and interrogate suspects, or to possess animals to scare other characters, being an excellent detective entry that is certainly worth your time. Full disclaimer, this is not my type of game, but somehow Russian Fishing 4, released in November this year and has already gotten 22,000 Steam reviews and a rating of mostly positive, and has something like 8 to 9,000 concurrent players per day as of recording, so there must be something to this game. It's a first-person fishing simulator where you're travelling to various locations to catch fish, where it's an open-world sandbox with no storyline or plot. I have no idea what Russian Fishing 1 to 3 is, but somehow this game has resonated, but does appear to be a little microtransaction heavy and grindy, but something of interest nonetheless. An awesome looking noir point and click adventure game is Get Out. Not the best name since it is difficult to search for, but this is a very classically designed title set in a world of espionage and international intrigue. It is set during the Cold War in London 1953, where you are a lone operative surrounded on all sides by enemies, where you have to solve a number of puzzles in order to complete your mission. I love the vibes of this game, but the music in this trailer absolutely nails what they are going for, making this worth a play. I love my idle games, and while I have not been playing any of them due to the distractions that they provide, Legends of IdleOn, Idle MMO is one which I have my eye on as well, one where you're creating and managing multiple characters, sending them off to fight monsters, gather resources, specialize in different skills and classes, and coordinating their efforts to reach new worlds, with a fantastic pixel art look that does remind me of MapleStory. Let's kick off the top 10 with one of the most adorable games out there in Alpaca Stacker, a 3D platformer where you play as an alpaca, exploring an island to gather up lost chicks, all of which stack very adorably on top of you. It's simple, sweet, and short, so go play this right now if you have not. There have been a number of student projects that have been releasing on Steam, from places like DigiPen and the Breda University of Applied Sciences, most of which are passable, but one which really impressed is Arid, a first-person survival title that looks and plays impressively. This is set in the 1930s in the Chilean desert, which is one of the driest places on Earth, where you play as a pilot who has crash-landed in this place, having to find water and food to survive while watching out for sandstorms and extreme temperatures. Impressively, for a free title, They have already released 2 updates titled Mining Town and Moon Valley, so if this is the next generation of game developers, we are in good hands. In comparison to Black Forest covered earlier, a perhaps more classically combat-focused RTS entry is Verdellum the Golden Horde, another medieval survival title, but this time is set in the 13th century, where defending your lands against the invading Mongolian Golden Horde. It is an impressive number of units on screen, supposedly in the thousands, with a base building and survival element that does remind me of They Are Billions. Again, this is another student project which is also very impressive, so of course I have to give them a mention. One of the best looking games this year in my opinion is Tadpole Tales, a free shoot 'em up where you play as a tadpole cleaning up the river of pollution by blasting away at a variety of foes. The boss and enemy designs are very interesting, with a wonderful, colourful, cartoony look, so for a free game, this is wholly worth your time, so check it out if you love the genre like me. One of the most impressive idle games is NGU Idle from developer 4G, where they released NGU Industries in Steam Early Access earlier this year. Rather than the more classic fantasy RPG setting, this combines the idle game with a factory builder, and if you know how all-consuming games like Factorial, Satisfactory and Dyson Sphere Program can be, you will instantly see the appeal and danger of this game. Being from a best-in-class developer, the systems and upgrades are well designed, where it only looks to be getting better, but as with most idle games, I believe you can jump in right now without any issues. While cynically, Muck looks like Minecraft crossed with totally accurate Battle Simulator and Rust, somehow this game is massively popular with over 107,000 Steam reviews and a very positive rating, so it must be doing something right. It self-describes as a survival roguelite, but you know the drill: punch trees to gather resources to build a house, craft weapons and explore, and where it looks like it shines is in the combat and enemies. There are some giant bosses and a vibe perhaps similar to Valheim, where this comes to us from a Norwegian YouTuber with over 3 million subscribers, so not too shabby in my opinion. I've mentioned this game before, but Super Animal Royale needs to be mentioned once again, since what the team has done is very impressive indeed. If you cannot already tell, this is a Battle Royale title, which somehow managed to find its niche in the face of Fortnite, Apex and PUBG, where Season 2 just started 2 weeks ago, so check it out if you have not. One of the best games of the year that I cannot believe is free is Super Raft Boat, an action roguelite where you're blasting away at enemies who want to sink your raft, all while gathering ingredients and building it out, since it acts as the platform on which you can move. I love the look of this game, with there being fun roguelite style random upgrades and a very compelling gameplay loop, so if you're a fan of top-down action games, be sure to check this out. of the biggest free-to-play successes of the year that can be considered relatively indie is Splitgate, converting to free-to-play in August this year and has had massive success, so much so that their servers were absolutely overloaded for a couple of days. This, reductively, is Halo meets Portal, where it takes the concept of thinking with portals to a whole new level. If you thought that messing around with these in Valve's puzzle game is neat, wait until you have to do this in the context of a first-person shooter, where you can open up a portal behind an enemy and shoot them from behind through the portal, for example. The infinite looping trick with 2 vertical portals works as well, leading to all sorts of chaos and fun, and I cannot wait to see where they go with this game. Unsurprisingly, Deltarune Chapter 2 easily takes the #1 spot, since what Toby Fox has done with the release of this is pretty impressive. It is, of course, Undertale adjacent, in that it's an RPG that plays with traditional turn-based combat systems, where the developer decided to release this decently sized chunk of content for free, since it was in the middle of a pandemic and he wanted to do something nice. It's very clever and witty in a very Undertale fashion, so it takes the #1 spot. For more of the best of this year and a look into the next, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.